Greetings, mutie lovers. This is Uncanny, the mutant musings of Matt and Siz. It's the show where we discuss Marvel's Uncanny X-Men comic issue by issue from 1975's giant-size X-Men #1 all the way to the present day. My name is Matt. I write and draw a comedy superhero comic called Steamroller Man, which you can read for free online at steamrollerman.com. And this is Siz, my co-host, who is the publisher, promoter, and founder of ComX Studios Australia. You can find everything ComX at comx.net.au. That's comx.net.au. Hello, Siz.
Hello, Matt. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm going well. Had a lot of fun with this issue as well, which I'm probably saying every time we come on because I'm loving these old 70s comics.
Yeah, they're great.
Most of them I have not read ever, so it's great reading something which is new, even though it's very old. I shouldn't say very old because this is like when I was born, so that would make me very old. We don't want to go there. So yeah, so
the less said about that, the better.
So this is issue 103 we're looking at, and it came out. Well, it was released February 77, as in 1977.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't think that's when they're actually released. I was thinking this before, actually, like when I was reading this, because I remember the months on comics didn't match the month they came out.
Right.
So I won't say they came out in February 77. I'll just say that it was dated February 77.
Right.
That was a bit of an overkill there, but whatever. And then the name of this story is called The Fall of the Tower.
Right, and on the cover it says Death Siege, but that's not actually the name of the title of the story.
Yeah, every issue does that. I've noticed that. Every issue has a different title on the front cover than they have inside the book to tell you what's actually... I'll go here so you can see it. The Fall of the Tower written on the wall there, with our good old leprechauns and Nightcrawler out cold. But as you can see up the top, if you can see it, Chris Claremont is the author, Dave Cockrum is the artist. Sam Granger is the inker again, so that's pretty cool. But this time we've got John Costanza as the letterer. Janice Cohan, I think that's pronounced, is the colorist. And Archie's back as the cheeky little guy who writes the funny little comments about which comic you should read to find out the story.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a cool issue. I like that the last issue we found out that Nightcrawler had this new power that we hadn't explored before.
Yeah.
And this issue explores it even more. And he doesn't even know. That's what I love about this issue. He doesn't even know he's got this power.
That is interesting, because you would think if it didn't just turn on, or manifest itself, surely he would have known prior to this, but the fact that he's finding out at the same time as we, the readers, are finding out is very, very interesting.
Yeah, it is.
It's an interesting approach to take,
Yeah, all I could think of is maybe when he's in the shadows, he can see himself still. Maybe that's why he doesn't know that he's invisible to other people.
Oh, maybe.
That's all I could go with. But I always thought it was his skin that made him invisible in the shadows. He's got these bright white gloves, and they go invisible as well. So I was sitting there going, how does that work? But then, mutant powers, they don't need explaining. They don't need explaining. But he's a bit of a Swiss Army knife of powers, old Nightcrawler.
Yeah, he really is. I was saying last episode, he's got one of the coolest power sets out of any of the X-Men, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's like he's got teleportation, he can stick to walls, he's got the tail that he can use to grab things and basically use as an extra hand. And then now he's got the ability to be invisible when he's in shadow. And not to mention his acrobatic skills. So I think it really makes him a very versatile and capable character, especially in a battle. That set of powers is really Like it's good for stealth. It's good for fighting. It's really cool. I love Nightcrawler. He's such a cool character.
He is. And they don't explore it here, but apparently he's also a very skilled swordsman.
Right. Yeah, he's got the whole swashbuckling thing as well.
Yeah, he's got that going on big time in the future comics.
Yeah, it's very cool.
There's something I really wanted to talk about, but I've realised it's one of the I don't know how many issues ahead, so I won't do that.
Oh, that's right, because you're about 5 issues.
I'm about 5 issues ahead.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Well, this one,
I'm like, oh. But yeah,
don't spoil it.
I'm bursting to talk about it. But yeah, so we got the fight. They've been outdone. Old Nightcrawler wakes up, still thinking he's in the fight, and bops one of the leprechauns.
Right.
So yeah.
Interesting. He's as shocked by the fact that leprechauns exist as I was with the last issue when it was revealed that leprechauns existed in the Marvel universe. In this issue, every one of the X-Men who encounters the leprechauns is like, what? Leprechauns exist? So it's interesting that everyone is kind of shocked and surprised by the leprechauns being a thing.
Yes.
In this world.
Maybe
so
they haven't a lot of stuff yet.
Right.
The X-Men of the future be like, oh yeah, leprechauns, whatever.
So it does make me wonder, like, did Banshee know that leprechauns existed? Because this is in his castle, and
his servant knows.
Right, exactly. So, you can kind of think, well, none of the other X-Men are from Ireland, and maybe unless you go to Ireland, you're not going to encounter these leprechauns, so they can be forgiven for not sort of knowing that, oh yeah, leprechauns are a thing. But yeah, does Banshee know? That's the true question here.
That's never I don't think that's touched on that I remember.
I don't think it is, but yeah, as you mentioned, like his manservant type groundskeeper caretaker character, he's definitely in the loop with the leprechauns and stuff.
It's the leprechaun's being held prisoner that's got him all. Oh, I've got to do what he says.
Right. Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we see him on the next page. Eamon O'Donnell is his name.
Oh yeah.
Now the interesting thing.
Before I could say it.
No worries.
Screw it up totally.
I went to a school with a kid called Eamon.
Oh well, there you go.
Yeah. But interesting thing here is Eamon O'Donnell appeared in issue 101. We first saw him when they got to the castle in issue 101. And he was drawn in that issue, because I went back and looked. He's drawn looking like a full height, like an average height person, Here, he's drawn looking much shorter. I don't know whether he himself is a leprechaun, but just the way that these shots are angled,
it looks like he's down on him.
Yes, it looks like he's much shorter here. So I'm not sure whether he's like a leprechaun himself, or whether he's like half leprechaun, or
can shapeshift type of thing, get bigger.
Maybe, I don't know, but I just thought that was kind of curious. And the other thing that we see at the bottom, in the bottom right panel of this page, is Eric the Red is back, or perhaps he's been here the whole time, but he is revealed as being the mastermind behind this attack. He was also the mastermind behind the airport attack upon the X-Men by Polaris and Havoc. So now I'm really wanting to know, like, who is this Eric the Red guy?
Who is this dude?
So Yeah, interesting. He's behind all this, and we find out here that the leprechauns are actually being held hostage in the castle by Black Tom and Juggernaut,
And
and
they
they
really,
need.
oh sorry,
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say they really show on this page how small he's bigger than a leprechaun, but he's smaller than Nightcrawler. Old Edmund
Yes. Yeah.
or
So
Eamon. Sorry,
yeah, it's yeah,
it's
I'm
weird.
curious as to like what's the deal with him because they don't
Maybe
really explain it.
maybe someone's like, is he a leprechaun or is he human? I'll just draw him halfway between.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, maybe could be.
He's a bit of both. Just draw him in between.
So
It's
this
kind of,
page is where this is what you were talking about earlier, where
yeah, where he discovers it.
yeah, Nightcrawler is actually now exploring this power that he didn't know he had, which is pretty cool. I think it's a really cool power.
Oh, this page totally blows my theory.
What was
He
your
can see that
theory?
his hands. He can see that his hand's invisible. So that doesn't. So that means he can see that it's working. Which
Oh
means
yeah, right.
before he would have seen it. So why has he
Hmm.
never noticed? Why? He's never been in the shadows. He's always been out in the sunlight.
Yeah, it's so strange.
Yeah, but you know, comics. What can you do?
Right, right. What are you gonna do? Um, so then a leprechaun comes running into the room, saying, "Eamon O'Donnell, come quickly! Black Tom has the X-Men in his laboratory," which I thought is very fun kind of comics thing. That, like, of course, Black Tom would would have a laboratory built
Set up in
into
the
the
castle.
castle.
That's the first thing I thought as well. That
Yeah.
he had this lab. Did he bring it in a few weeks ago with him? You know,
Right. I wondered that too, because he's got like if you look on the next page,
yeah, it's like quite elaborate little.
it's an elaborate laboratory.
There's all sorts of gadgets in there. Something
Yeah,
that
like
can handle Colossus.
exactly. He's not only got a laboratory in the castle, but he has equipment in there that is able to immobilize every single X and restrain every single X-Man.
Yep.
Which so he came quite well prepared.
Not mucking around, old Tom.
No, no, not at all.
I love that he's got a torture glove. So that's
Yeah, I actually thought this was really cool. It's he calls it a neuronic entangler. Oh no, a
oh,
neuronic tangler glove.
glove. Yep. That will put
Which
them into a lot of pain, so they'll contact Xavier.
yeah, it ravages
That's
the
next page.
mind yet leaves the body undamaged.
Yeah.
Exquisite never-ending agony, he says.
Yes. Luckily, he never
So
gets to use it.
right. But it looks really cool.
It
I
does look
really
very
like
cool.
that.
It's got the Kirby Crackle.
Yes, excellent looking Kirby Crackle on that page. And so then Black Tom basically explains his plan here is he's going to torture the X-Men so that the mental connection between Xavier and the X-Men will cause Professor X to come to rescue the X-Men from Ireland, at which point Black Tom is going to kill him. So basically using the X-Men as bait to lure Xavier there.
How
And
wrong
then we
were
actually
they?
see... What's
How
that?
wrong were they? How wrong were they? All Charles was going to do was send old Cyclops over
That's right.
and yell at him if he doesn't go.
He's got another vacation planned. Can't be going
He's got to go fishing.
save the
Can't help
X-Men. Exactly. So then at the bottom of this page, we see Nightcrawler actually makes strategic use of his image inducer.
I love this.
Yeah, this was really cool. Makes himself look like Professor X, and he teleports in to the laboratory. and then Juggernaut rushes at him, and then Professor X, who is actually Nightcrawler, jumps out of the way and stands up, and not only is now able to stand, but he's doing all these acrobatic moves, which is thoroughly confounding. Yeah, exactly. They're very confused.
You're laughing at me. I'd be saying, you're standing.
Yeah. Great art on this page too, I thought. Again, really great action poses.
Yeah, bouncing around.
Mm-hmm. It's great stuff.
But yeah, it's funny.
But then they see through Nightcrawler's trick. They finally
only because he sticks to the damn wall.
Yes.
That's what gives him away. Right. Hang on, he sticks to the wall.
Yeah. So then there's a really cool panel. The third panel has all these impact lines on Juggernaut, which again, like, really is a nice way of illustrating the impact and the force of that blow.
You get that straight away that he's punching the absolute hell out of that spot.
Yeah. And he punches a hole through the exterior wall of the castle, which now allows Storm to see the sky, and seeing the sky breaks her out of her claustrophobia.
Yep.
And so then she creates a hurricane, essentially.
Yeah.
Which
free.
Yeah, which frees
almost
Wolverine, Colossus, and herself. Juggernaut grabs Banshee, but the other three, she blows them out of the castle.
So poor Nightcrawler's still back there somewhere.
Right. Nightcrawler's still with the leprechauns, I think. Oh no, he's still
under all the rubble.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Because then the leprechauns come and save him again.
Thank goodness for the leprechauns.
Thank goodness for the leprechauns.
Because there's quite a few of them going by this picture. The first panel.
Yeah, there's lots of them.
Come on, leprechauns, pile on to Juggernaut.
So I guess the walls collapsing because of Juggernaut's punch essentially freed all the leprechauns who were imprisoned. So they come through the hole in the wall, trying to creep past Juggernaut and Black Tom to get Nightcrawler out of the rubble. And then meanwhile, Storm, Colossus, and Wolverine, I guess they're off on a rocky outcropping of a cliff nearby the castle, but outside. Storm uses her lockpick abilities that she learned in Cairo, so they, it was interesting. A nice little bit of like foreshadowing that we just got her origin story in the last issue about how she grew up and spent the first 7 or 8 years of, after her parents died, she was in Cairo and was part of a street thief gang where she learned to pick locks and pickpockets. So I'm just going to let you talk while I have a drink.
Yeah. I love they're going to the roof. I don't know what this is all about. I mean, they kind of make sense of it where they're going to dangle Banshee over the edges and say, come and get him. But it's actually is it the next page that really got me? Yeah, Storm goes in for the attack. I love that he throws Wolverine up into the castle. Yeah. And we find out on the next page or so that he threw him too far. Yeah. But this rock thing, I love that. that he's just like using his strength to dig into the rock
Right.
to climb up.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
really cool. I've seen that in a movie, I think, but that was a recent movie, so they stole it from Colossus.
I guess they did. Yeah.
Yeah, because he does it. I just loved it. Seeing, oh, that's an awesome use of his power.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just love the
Real
whole
cool.
hey,
Yeah.
Wolverine.
Yeah, the Fastball Special went
Yeah,
too far.
went too far, and he said, "I told you never to call Storm abroad.
Right. Yes.
Happy landings."
Yep.
But apparently, there's a sitting duck on the wall. Have you got anything to say about this page?
No, we can keep moving.
Yep. This was the one that I found absolute crack up. Not only is there leprechauns, there is laser guns in the turrets.
Yes. I thought the same thing. Was like, so this ancient castle, this ancient Irish castle has been retrofitted with turrets featuring energy blasting cannons. And I was just thinking, like, when did he put those in? Does Banshee know about these?
Yeah.
Or was this Black Tom who decided to install these as part of his plan? It's just very, very curious that, like, of course there would be turrets with energy blasters.
It's not even like old school weaponry. It's like we're talking future tech here.
Yeah, it seems like Black Tom did a lot of renovations to the castle while Banshee was in America. Maybe that's what the lawyer was trying to contact Banshee about, was like, look, I can't not say anything, but your cousin has been going crazy with the renovations while you've been gone. I just want to make you aware that he's installed these energy turrets.
Yeah, that cracked me up.
Yeah. And so Storm creates what else? A huge storm at the bottom of this page. She's finally, literally in her element and lets loose with the full force of her powers. It says she's twisting the weather patterns for miles around, creating the worst Atlantic gale in living memory. So she is quite a powerful mutant.
And I guess that's her recovering from the claustrophobia, so she's just letting it all out.
Yeah, letting loose. And then on the next page, Wolverine now is the one meeting a leprechaun. He can't believe it.
How do you know my name? Oh, dear.
And then he actually says the Wolverine don't believe in leprechauns.
Yeah, and then he's like, the leprechauns don't believe in talking Wolverines either.
Exactly.
I love that line.
Exactly. So there's a lot of action on this page. The one thing about this story is, like, I don't have a lot to say on any individual page of this issue because the story is moving so fast. Like, so much is happening. There's just so much plot on every page of this issue. Like, it's just moving and moving and moving. And this page is no exception. We just have a lot of action happening here where, Wolverine meets the leprechaun. Leprechaun says, hey, I can get you back to the castle. Meanwhile, Black Tom is controlling the turrets, using the battle computers to try and pin Storm in a crossfire. Banshee is standing by. He's still got his muzzle on that stops him from using his sonic scream powers.
Yep.
And then Nightcrawler is using his newfound power to conceal himself in the shadows, creep up behind Banshee, break the ropes that are tying him up, which allows Banshee to get his hands free and rip off the muzzle. So tons of action happening in just one page of this comic. It's just like, as we've talked about previous episodes, like the pacing of these
Yeah.
early era comics, you know, in the 70s was so much faster than modern comic books. I just don't think you'd even see so much action happening on a single comic
No,
page
I don't reckon.
these days. It's just not the style that comics are done in anymore, I don't think. So there's definitely like something to be said for the artistry of fitting that much action into one page of a comic book.
Yeah. I was wondering myself though, is it the editor's notes, the thought bubbles, the all these things that tell the story? You don't need to draw the story, so you can just get straight into the action. Maybe, do you think maybe that could be what is different as well?
Yeah, I think it's both. I think it's both the dialogue is carrying like more of a load of, you know, as you said, like the editor's notes and thought balloons, filling readers in about stuff they need to know to make sense of what's happening in the images. And in that way, that enables the images to tell more of the story in a shorter space as well. So I think it's a cooperation
Yep.
between both the words and the images to enable the storytelling to deliver more content in a shorter page count. Because, you know, like these early stories, they're not even 20 pages of
No,
story.
I think they're I think it's 17 actually.
I think you're right. Which, I
Yeah,
mean,
so
that's
it's
shorter than
a lot of
like a
ads.
modern comic is 22
Yeah.
pages of story. So they're telling stories in fewer pages that seem to have more stuff happening in them than modern comics do, which are a higher page count, which, you know, I mean, I don't want to say it's a lost art, but it's certainly something that you don't see as often these days in comics. And I imagine that it's quite a challenge to do.
And still look all right and flow
Yeah.
correctly and that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
totally. So kudos to the entire creative team
Yeah. My
on
favorite
the
part of this
X-Men.
page is the Nightcrawler eyes in the shadows. That looks
Yeah,
so
that's
cool.
cool.
And
That does
it
look
shows he's
awesome.
got a bit of strength there. He snaps the rope. So it's like, oh, Nightcrawler's also got a bit of strength going on.
Yeah.
'Cause snapping rope ain't easy.
No. No. Yeah. Exactly.
Especially rope that thick.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So yeah.
agree.
But they've shown that in other ones we've read. Like he seems to have a bit of power behind his punches and so forth.
Yeah.
Back then, I don't know if that's still a thing. I don't remember him really showing off strength as a thing more than
No,
normal humans.
I think you're right, and they've also done it with Wolverine as well, who, you know, to my knowledge, Wolverine doesn't have like super strength. He's just got like the adamantium skeleton, the healing factor, and the heightened senses. But as far as his strength goes, I don't think he's stronger than your average, you know, bodybuilder slash martial artist fighter type
Yeah, that's the impression I get
normal
as well.
human being.
Which
And
is
I
why
kind of thought the same thing with Nightcrawler, but they've both been shown
back in the
performing
70s.
these kind of actions that you would think, oh, he's a bit super powered,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Well, in the 70s anyway. When I read in the 80s, I don't remember reading anything that made them seem like they were exceptionally strong.
Hmm.
But it could be my memory. Maybe they did. We'll find out sometime
We'll
in the next
find
three
out
or
in
4 years.
2 years. 2 years time.
So I'll go to the next page here.
Yeah,
I
all
like the
right.
use of his power. Nice.
Yes. Yeah, it's a good strategy here that instead of, you know, because last issue, the entire issue was them going up against Juggernaut and just being flattened, like there
Yeah.
was no effect. And so this is actually really good strategy on Banshee's part. Is I'm not going to blast Juggernaut directly. I'm going to blast the floor out from under him. That will at least like delay him while we can deal with Black Tom.
Yeah,
So yeah, it
exactly.
was really cool. Really cool.
Yeah. I love this battle between Black Tom and Banshee as well. Bit of
Yes.
axes, some swords,
Yeah,
because
it's
they
really
can't use
fun.
their powers against each other. So,
Exactly. So they got to pick up weapons from the castle. So
mm,
Banshee grabs a sword off the wall, and Black Tom's got a battle axe.
yeah. So what do we got? And that's the battle itself is there. So we've got mostly them, a little bit of Juggernaut in the background,
Yep.
but mostly it's Black Tom and Banshee's fight.
Yeah. So this is very swashbuckling type Errol
Yeah, it is,
Flynn,
isn't it?
you know, sword fight, almost like the Princess Bride sword fight between Inigo Montoya and the Man in Black. When
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
fighting, they're doing that big epic sword fight on the battlements of that old ruined castle. This sort of reminded me of that.
No,
Um,
no, I can see that definitely. I was waiting for one of them to go. Actually, I'm not left-handed, but but yeah. So this was good, and old Banshee saves the X-Men by throwing old Black Tom into the ocean,
yeah,
and
flips him off
Juggernaut's
the
such good
battlements.
friends. Yeah, old Juggernaut's such good friends. He's like, no, I have to chase
Yes,
him.
I thought this part was quite touching, actually.
That's what I thought as well. I thought, oh, he's like such good friends. He jumped off to save him. They're not
Yeah,
just
it's
they're not just cellmates. They're like
no,
friends.
yeah, he's actually genuinely distraught by Black
Yeah, go to the
Tom
next page. You can see it.
seemingly falling to his death, and he actually says like he was the only friend I ever had, and
Yeah,
if and so help me. That's one thing that like Claremont has a lot of characters say, "So help me, if anything's happened to them, I'll kill you." So he's got that line yet again. So help me, if you've killed him, I'll make you pay. He says as he dives in to the ocean to try and save Black Tom. But we don't know. They both disappear. They say
bodies are
that
never found.
yeah, they're never found after a day of searching, but as we know, if you don't see the body in a comic book, then they're not really dead. They will return, and sometimes even if you do see the body,
Didn't see
they're
the
still
body.
going to come back. Doesn't matter. There's no death in comic books.
There's no death. Everyone comes back. Now,
Yep.
what I find interesting about this is we're right down the bottom of it after Storm clears the storm. Storm. Um, we've got Eric the Red with his little
Yes.
monitors,
Yep.
and it's like, was he the dude with the red glove way back? And they decided to change the design halfway through because he hasn't got the pattern on the glove like the red glove we saw earlier. In I don't know why I'm pointing behind me, but yeah, he hasn't got the red glove that we saw earlier. But was it him, or was it someone else? Was someone else watching what was going on with the X Men's?
Well,
Watching Steve and watching the X Men.
I think that there's two ways that you could interpret it. Like one is like an in story kind of X-Men continuity explanation, and then the other way you could interpret it is a real world artist writer behind the scenes with at the production of the comic interpretation.
Oh
So
yes,
I think the second interpretation, the real world comic artist interpretation, could be that Claremont just wrote in the description to that earlier issue, we see the hand of another mysterious
yeah,
character. We don't know who it is. And then Cockrum just came up with a design on the hand. But at that point, you know, because I'm sure that kind of a foreshadowing device of like, oh, we just see a mysterious figure. I'm sure that writers just use that as like, I don't have to say what it is now, and I don't even know what it is right now. I'm just going to set something up so that later down the line, I can kind of pull this out of my hat and say like, oh, and I was watching you all the way back in issue 101 or what, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that was...
There's a little part of me, though.
No, that's what I'm saying, is like, the other explanation is what you just said.
Someone above him.
Right. So I think, I mean, it's possibly too early to tell.
Yeah, I'm holding out with hope, but yeah, it's too early to tell.
But I do love that this recurring kind of plot device of mysterious figure watching the events that we just saw on a monitor. He's using it over, like, I love it. I just love it. It's such a great kind of superhero, pulpy kind of cliche device.
Yeah.
That it's so fun to it's like, oh, well, of course there's someone, you know, like I remember they used to have that in every episode of the Inspector Gadget cartoon.
That's true.
Dr. Claw would be watching the events of that episode.
Yep.
And you'd
with
always... Exactly, like the rest of us. He was a fan of the show too.
He was a fan of the show, yeah.
He was watching.
What I found interesting about this last panel, you can see the X-Men all going, yay, we beat him in the left. You got this guy in the middle that you don't really make it clear who he is. Just something to do with Princess Naramani?
Yeah, Princess Naramani, due to reach Earth in a matter of weeks.
And that he's not from Earth.
Right.
But what I love about this is the Magneto. If you were reading this back then, he was currently a baby.
Magneto was currently a baby?
Yeah, he'd been turned into a baby in an earlier... I went and read back in the other episodes where he's...
Really?
That we didn't do. He'd been turned into a baby. I forget...
What?
I think, was it a sorcerer? Oh, something turned him into a baby.
Really?
Yeah, and so if you were reading this and you were a fan of the X-Men and you read the earlier ones, you'd be like, hang on, that's an adult Magneto. What? He's a baby. What's happening?
That is hilarious. Oh my God.
I read that'd be exciting for whoever was reading this back in 77. They'd be like,
right.
Oh, Magneto, but he's a baby. He's a little white baby in Moira's laboratory.
So...
I think it was her who turned him into a baby because he was such a threat, or something like that.
Interesting. Then I can't wait to read the next issue, because I'm assuming Magneto arrives in the next issue.
Oh, big time. Big time.
So...
exploding doors and everything.
I'm very curious, because I know you've already read it, and don't tell me,
I didn't mean to spoil it.
But I'm just going to say, like, I can't wait to hear the explanation of how he became not a baby.
Yeah. Well, and I also know that story from they talk about it in like comics in the 90s and stuff. How he was a baby and then regenerated to a younger self, so that's how someone from the Holocaust is still alive. Because he was made into a baby, then he was made into like a 20s version of himself instead of a 50s version of himself.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, when you said that did sort of ring a bell of him being a baby at some point, but I thought that was way later. Like, I thought that didn't happen until much later. That's interesting.
Yeah, what I love is that... Oh, where was I going with that? Shit. Oop. I'll censor that out. I can't remember where I was going with it. I'm really excited about next week. because we get to talk about that one because there's a bit of a development in there. Maybe I'm seeing something that's not there. But tune in next week when we get to delve into Magneto's powers relating to all the other X-Men.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting. Very intriguing.
Because this is the new X-Men, so you get to see how they interact with his powers.
Cool.
Anyway, that's me talking about another comic. That's not what we're meant to do. So I guess we're up to the end of the show. So that would be the part where we go, the band name. What is the band name?
My piece of paper just fell, so I just got to grab it.
Okay, cool.
Got it. Okay. All right. Okay, so the choices.
Oh, there's choices. Cool.
Yeah, I went through and there's a few choices here. This is going to be like the Oscars, and you get to pick the winner.
Ooh.
So the nominees are the Neuronic Tanglers.
Oh, I like that one.
Based
but we won't
on
choose yet.
Black Tom's glove.
Yep.
This one's very un-PC. But
okay.
I'm just taking it straight from the comic text.
Ooh.
So don't blame me. The next choice is Xavier was a cripple.
Interesting
choice. Wolverine says that, yes.
Yeah, I remember Wolverine saying that, actually.
The next choice is the battle computers. That's referring to Black Tom has a line about the battle computers are recalibrating so they can catch Storm in a crossfire. So I thought the battle computers. And then the last one, which is my personal preference, but you get to choose, is No More Failures.
Oh.
Which I think Black Tom says that to Juggernaut. No more failures.
I'm gonna have
four to choose from.
I'm gonna have to disagree. I love that one. Don't get me wrong, but I'm loving the gloves. I'm loving
the Neuronic Tanglers.
Yeah, that sounds like a bit of a rave party type band, like a DJ. I would say more than a band.
Right. So. DJ Neuronic Tangler. That actually works.
So yeah, I'm going to a rave party next week with the Neuronic. What would they say? I can't pronounce it.
DJ Neuronic Tangler.
That's the one. So get a bit of dance into me.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for this week, everyone. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments about what we've said, you want to have a laugh with us, you want to have a laugh at us, in the comments, thanks. That'd be great. And I'm umming a lot. Like and subscribe. And share with your friends so more X fans can find out about this wonderful show with Matt and myself. And I don't know why I'm being all dramatic. Next week we do 104, issue 104. And until then, I am Siz. You can find me online at comics.net.au. That's comics with no I. And Matt, where can people find your stuff?
You can find Steamroller Man comics at steamrollerman.com. Thank you very much.
Check them out, people. For now, goodbye, everyone, and see you next week.
See you later, everybody.